Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Angie and this is Yarn Over with Angie. And in today's video, I would like to go over some crochet basics. Let's go over the basic stitches that you'll need and how to use the yarn properly, okay? So let's begin with the yarn. Now I'm using a thicker yarn um, because it's easier when you're learning to use a thicker yarn. So on the yarn label, okay, you're going to have a lot of information, which I think is important for you to know about. So right here, it's going to tell you the weight of the yarn, okay? So it'll say everything from 0 all the way up to 6, okay? So 6 is super bulky, 0 is like lace weight here. Let me see if I can find one for you, something like this. It looks like, it's almost like sewing thread, okay? Not I don't recommend this for beginners, okay? um it's harder to work with in my opinion, but everyone is different, okay? It's probably better to go with a 3 or a 4. It's somewhere in the middle, okay? And so this one also tells you the size crochet hook right here and the size knitting needle that you should use, okay? So if you're using knitting needles, it says 9 US, okay? Because in different countries, you're going to have different measurements for your hooks and needles, okay? But we're not going to use knitting needles. We're going to use our crochet hook. So in the US, it'll say K or 10 and a half. That will be the US size, okay? Now let me show you some of my hooks here. I'm going to show you on the hook how that would look. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see. Yeah, there you go. All right. So here you have J10. So it's going to have a letter and it's going to have a number. Okay. It's going to have a letter and a number for the US. But now you're also going to see 6 points. Oh my gosh, it's so out of focus. There you go. You're going to see a 6.00 millimeters. That's going to be everywhere else. Okay. So pay attention to that. If it's the US, it's going to have a letter and a number. K is 10 and a half. But if you don't have US needles or you're not in the US, it's going to say 6.5. Now, I have a lot of J hooks because that is my go-to. So this yarn says we're going to use a K, 10 and a half or 6.5 millimeters. So I've got my 6.5 here, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how to get started. Now, with this yarn, you have the option of pulling from the outside, okay? And you have the option of pulling from the center. I am a center pull girl, okay? But everybody has their own preference. You decide what you're comfortable doing, okay? There is no right or wrong answer for this, okay? But I have to warn you that, so if you're going to pull from the outside, you're going to have to remove the label. And if you remove the label, I recommend that you take it and you tuck it inside here so that you'll have it later for future reference, okay? And if you're going to pull from the center, what often happens is we call it the, the baby yarn, right? You're going to pull and you're going to look for the center and you're going to wind up pulling a whole big wad out before you find it, okay? Now, I've already done it in anticipation, but let me show you what this is going to look like. Sometimes it's really hard to find that center pull, okay? So like I said, you decide what you want to do. If you're going to do it from that, they both have pros and cons. See, look at this, how hard this is. Okay, but I've gone ahead. Oh my goodness. Let me pause this video while I pull out the rest of this center. Whoa, all right, that was quite the mess. Okay, what I often do is I often use a ball winder and just rewind the whole skein of yarn because there is a big mess coming out of here, and I'd rather wind it up into a ball and detangle the yarn as I am winding because I don't want to have to stop and detangle yarn while I'm crocheting or knitting. Okay, so again, whatever you're comfortable doing, you go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and find the end of my yarn over here. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, first we're going to begin, if we're making a flat panel, that's what I'm going to show you today. So we're going to begin with our slip knot. Okay, now in order to make a slip knot, you're going to take the yarn and you're going to put the tail, this is the tail, okay, and this is the working yarn. So the working yarn is the yarn that is attached to the ball or the skein of yarn that you are using. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to put my tail in between these two fingers here, and I'm going to have my working yarn go across my palm like that. Okay, then I'm going to take my tail and I'm going to cross it over like that. Okay, so you see it looks like I have an X on my hand. Okay, so the tail is going to go over, cross over the working yarn. Then I'm going to pick up the working yarn again and I'm going to put it over my finger. Now it looks like I have a Y. See that? This is now the tail is in the front and the working yarn is in the back. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this loop. I have two loops and a tail. I'm going to take the loop that's closest to my thumb and I'm going to just pull it over that piece of yarn and off my finger. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently tug both. I'm going to tug my tail and I now have my slip knot. I'm going to insert my hook. And in order to adjust the yarn, see, you can pull the working yarn or the tail. The tail will tighten it and the working yarn will tighten the loop. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to make a chain. Now I'm going to do this loosely so that you can see. In order to make a chain, so now I have a loop and I have my knot. Okay? All right, I'm going to come in a little bit closer so that you can see possibly. There you go. Now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take these two fingers right here and I'm going to hold the knot. This is going to help with my tension. Now this is how I hold my yarn. Okay, so take a look at it for a minute. Everybody holds their yarn differently. Everyone is made differently. Everyone is comfortable doing it differently. This is how I hold my yarn. Okay, so I'm holding my knot and then with this finger I'm going to yarn over and see how my hook is catching the yarn. And then with my right hand, I'm going to turn my hook slightly down, slightly facing down, and I'm going to pull it through that loop. Okay, let's try that again. I'm going to yarn. I don't always hold it, okay, because I'm a little bit more comfortable. I can just use my whole hand that way. That's another way of doing it. You can go like this. I'm going to grab the bottom again. I'm going to turn my hook down and I'm going to pull it through. Okay, I'm going to do it a little bit faster. Okay, now if you find that this is too tight, go up a hook size. If you're making it too loose, go down a hook size. When you are starting, the biggest problem is actually the tension. You're going to have very uneven tension. You're going to have some fat, loose ones and some skinny and tight loops, but you just have to practice. I recommend that you practice your chain for a while before you go on to the next step. Okay, now as I was going up, as I was making my chain, these two fingers were going up and holding the base of the chain, you saw, so that it helps with the tension. Okay, my tension is not all loosey goosey. Now I have made my chain and we are going to go ahead and count how many chain stitches I've made. And how do you do that? You count the V's. Okay, so if you are going to stop work at any time, you just take this and make this loop really long, okay, so that it doesn't unravel. Okay, so let's go ahead and count. Let me show you how to count this. So you see we have These are V's, and every V is a chain, okay? So let's go ahead and count our V's, okay? Okay, so I'm going to put this down. Just wanted to show you the V's. And let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I have 15 chains here, okay? And a good, when you're practicing, you can make 15 or 20. So let me show you something else. This is bigger than I want it to be. I only want it to be 10. Let's go ahead and unravel it, okay? I'm going to go ahead and unravel. Here we go. And all you have to do is grab the working yarn, hold on to your chain. I want to unravel 5, so let me count down 5. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I'm going to hold my finger right here, okay? And then I'm going to pull, okay? And it's really easy. 3, 4, and 5. See, I have pulled out 5 stitches, okay? All right, so I'm going to reinsert my hook and I'm going to get started, all right? So far we've made a slip knot, we've done a chain, we've counted our chains, and we've also unraveled. Don't be scared to unravel your yarn. You make a mistake, you unravel your yarn as soon as you can. It's called frogging because it makes like it makes like a ribbit sound as it unravels, okay? And we've all done it and we will all continue to do it, all right? You learn by your mistakes. So let's go ahead. So we've got our chain. I'm going to show you the first stitch after this. Most crochets start with a chain, okay? All right, so I'm going to show you the single crochet. That I think that's like the most common stitch that people use. People use it for amigurumi. I said it, amigurumi. They use it for borders. It's a simple stitch. It's a tighter stitch. So let's go ahead and learn how to do that. In order to make the single crochet, now we're not going to crochet in this first stitch right here, okay, because that will unravel our stitch. We're going to crochet in here, okay? So I'm going to take my hook and I'm going to insert it into that first chain. I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull it through. And now I have 2 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to hold on to this for my tension and I'm going to pull it through those 2 loops. I'm going to do that again, okay? I'm going to insert my hook into that stitch. I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to pull it through. I'm going to yarn over and pull it through both of those loops. Now you see all the things I'm doing with my finger? They're all helping me with the tension. You can hold it here. I'm holding my chain. So pay attention to what your hands are doing and what feels comfortable. Okay? None of it is going to feel comfortable in the beginning. So I'm going to go into one here. I'm going to yarn over and pull it through. Now I have 2 loops. I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull it through. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and do that again. The great thing about YouTube is that you can pause it, rewind it. I think there's a little gear on the bottom that you can slow it down. You can rewatch it as many times as you need to. Okay, so I'm going to go all the way down. And this is a single crochet, all right, into the chain, all right? I would like to show you how to do it on the next row. So I'm going to insert my hook into the chain. I'm going to yarn over and pull it through. I have 2 loops. I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull it through. Okay, this is the slip knot, so I'm not going to do my stitch in there. So now I'm getting ready to turn because I'm working on a flat panel. Okay, so this is a single crochet. So a single crochet is about 1 stitch height. It's about the height of 1 stitch. So I'm of a chain. I'm going to yarn over and pull it through. Remember, we know how to make a chain. And now I have a chain there, okay? So what I'm going to do is pay attention to your pattern. Some patterns will tell you to skip this first stitch, and some patterns will tell you not to work into that stitch. I think I'm going to work into it, okay? So I'm going to take my hook, and I'm going to insert it under both. See, there's a V there on the top. You see that? I'm going to insert my hook underneath both V's. I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull it through that stitch. And I have 2 loops. Then I'm going to yarn over and pull it through 2. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to insert my hook under both V's. See the both V's there? I'm going to yarn over and pull it through. Okay? And I have 2 loops on my hook, and I'm going to yarn over and pull it through. Okay? I'm sorry if you can hear the beeping sound. There's some construction going on outside. Let's try that again. I'm going to insert my hook into the stitch right here. See, right under the 2 V's. I'm going to yarn over, pull it through. I have 2 loops. I'm going to yarn over, pull it through. And you're going to do that all the way down. And that is how you make a single crochet. Okay, it's the same thing. If you're doing it into the chain, you're just going into the loop. But if you're doing it into the stitches, make sure that you go under both V's, unless the pattern calls for something different. Okay, so this is just a basic single crochet. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show you the next step. So this is the smallest stitch that you can make. And the next stitch that you can make is called a half double. Okay, and make sure that when you get to the end of the row, you find that last V. Many people forget it. Okay, and that's why people's projects become wonky and stuff. Make sure you find that last V on the edge. Okay, see? Okay, all right. So we've done our single crochet. We're going to go on to our next stitch. So we're going to yarn over and make a chain 1. So when you're doing a pattern, it will tell you how many times to chain when you turn over to the other side, depending on what the next stitch will be. Just follow the pattern, okay? So we're going to do a half double. So it's a short stitch, so we're only going to need to chain 1 before we turn, okay? Now, let's go ahead and get started with our half double. So for our half double, we're going to yarn over, okay, and then insert the hook under the stitch. So we're going to look for the V. There it goes right there. Then we're going to yarn over and pull it through. As you can see, we now have 3 loops on our hook, okay? And we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull it through all 3 of those loops. So I've got my 2 fingers here holding it. I've got a good grip on my hook. I've yarned over and I'm pulling it through all 3 loops. Okay, we're going to try that again. Yarn over, find our next stitch. You see, I've got this finger, and this finger is going to help me hold these stitches in place. Okay, find my next stitch, yarn over, pull it through. I have 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull it through all 3 loops. Okay, let's go ahead and try that one more time. I'm going to yarn over. See how I'm holding the stitch, and I'm holding my work with these fingers, okay? I'm going to look for my next stitch. I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over and pull it through that stitch, and I now have 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull it through all 3. So I'm going to do the next stitch again, yarn over, insert it, pull it through. Now you might have trouble pulling it through all 3 loops at one time. That's okay. Here's what you can do. Just pull it through one at a time. Yarn over, pull it through 1, 2, and then 3. Okay, I'm going to do that again. So that's a little bit slower. Yarn over, find our next stitch, yarn over, pull it through that stitch, yarn over, and pull it through 1, 2, and 3. Okay, I'm going to do that one more time. Insert the hook, yarn over, pull it through. We have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over and pull it through 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and that is called a half double. Once you get better, you'll be able to pull it through all 3 loops at one time. That's something that comes with practice. So it's not just about the yarn over and finding the stitch, it also depends on how you hold everything, okay? If you find that your stitches are a little bit too tight, watch this. Yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over, pull it through, and give your hook a little tug up. See how I loosened my stitches when I did that? And then yarn over and pull it through. Now I keep my tension by holding my work close to the hook, okay? And by having a good grip here. Different crochet hooks are going to have different grips on them, okay? So I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to do my last stitch for the half double, insert it under that stitch, yarn over, pull it through. I now have 3 loops. I'm going to yarn over and pull it through all 3. And that is the half double crochet. Okay, so now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, because our next stitch is a little bit taller. That was the half double. Now I'm going to show you the double. Okay, so to make the double stitch, you're going to yarn over and you're going to find your next stitch, insert your hook, yarn over and pull it through. And we have 3 loops on our hook again, right? Only this time, this is what we're going to do different. We're going to yarn over and pull it through 2. Now I have 2 loops on my hook again, and I'm going to yarn over and pull it through 2. Okay, let's try that one more time. Well, let's try that a few times. Yarn over, find our next stitch, look for that V, okay? Yarn over, pull it through that stitch. I have my finger here holding these 2 loops. Yarn over, you see that? Now I have 3 loops. I'm going to yarn over and pull it through 2, and yarn over and pull it through 2, okay? Yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over and pull it through. Yarn over and pull it through 2, and yarn over and pull it through 2, okay? That's called the double crochet. Yarn over, find your next stitch, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull it through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull it through 2 loops. I'm going to go down the row and I'm going to make the single crochet. I'm so sorry. I'm going to go down the row and I'm going to make double crochets. And if you like what you're seeing, please go ahead and like and subscribe to the video, okay? So that you can have access to more tutorials on how to make stitches and how, after you make the stitches, what you're going to do, right? You want to know how to make things with these stitches, right? And I have lots of videos. So please go ahead and like and subscribe and share it with a friend who might need some help, okay? So this is the double crochet. Okay, this is the double crochet in America, because in different parts of the country, in different parts of the world, I should say, in different countries, they're called different things. I think the UK will call this something else. So pay attention to your pattern. And if the pattern is for a UK pattern, a US pattern, an Italian pattern, and get a stitch dictionary that will explain how to make the stitches. Okay, so I'm showing you the American stitches, the US stitches. Okay, let's go ahead and do one more. Yarn over, find that last stitch. Okay, yarn over, pull it through. I now have 3 loops. I'm tugging it up. Yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, all right, so that was the double crochet. Okay, so we've made our chain, we've made our single, our half double, and now our double. I'm going to show you one more stitch. Okay, it's not something that I use often, but is used in like when you're doing a mesh or maybe even filet crochet. Okay, so let's go ahead and do something called the triple crochet or the treble. Okay, so that's a rather high stitch. So we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And again, pay attention because your pattern will tell you how many chains to make at the end of the row. Okay, and I'm going to, so this is a treble. I'm going to yarn over twice. 1, 2. Okay, so here I have 1, 2, and 3 loops on my hook. And then I'm going to use this finger. I'm going to hold them all together. I'm going to insert it into my stitch. Look for that V. I'm going to yarn over and pull it through. And I now have 4 loops on my hook, right? 4 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull it through 2, and yarn over and pull it through 2, and yarn over and pull it through 2. And that's the treble. I did it 3 times, okay? So let's wrap our yarn around 1, 2. I have 3 loops, okay? I'm going to find my next stitch. I'm going to insert my hook. I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to pull it through. Now I have 4 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull it through 2, yarn over, pull it through 2, and yarn over and pull it through 2. I did it 3 times. That's how I remember it, okay? Excuse the noise outside. I think they're doing some kind of work, okay? So I'm going to yarn over once, yarn over twice, find my next stitch, yarn over and pull it through the stitch, okay? Then I'm going to yarn over, pull it through 2, and yarn over, pull it through 2, and yarn over, pull it through 2. You see how that makes a loose stitch? I'm going to go ahead and do it again all the way down the row, okay? Again, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more cool things, right? Like, give me a comment, leave in the comments, let me know which is your favorite stitch. Did you like the single, the double, the half double? And let me know why, okay? I'm curious. Just practice. Just practice your stitches. I have a list of washcloths that I put so that you can practice 1 stitch at a time and make a lovely washcloth, right? I'll put those in the description as well. Or you can just keep going and make a scarf, right? And just switch up the stitches every now and again, right? So you can do that too. That's a really cool way. So you can do a few rows of singles, a few rows of doubles, a few rows of half doubles. You choose. Or you can make it all in 1 stitch, whatever floats your boat. Okay, I'm going to look for that last stitch. It's really important, so I always point it out. Here's my last stitch. I'm going to yarn over, pull it through. I have 4 loops. Yarn over, pull it through 2, and yarn over and pull it through 2, and yarn over and pull it through 2. Okay. All right. So there you have the triple or the treble crochet. Now, what do you do after you've learned all these stitches? Well, you're going to have to make something. So go ahead and click on one of these videos on the side here and find something that you can make. Okay. Te veo.